In the next few minutes, you're going to learn 3 easy steps to get really clear on what your goals should be and how you can take those goals and break them out into actionable steps so that you accomplish them. Now, the first step is to set your goals and objectives. And this seems fairly simple, but most entrepreneurs, business managers, and business owners just don't do it properly. So step number 1, set your goals and objectives. And we want to use what's known as SMART objectives. And if you don't know about SMART objectives, I want you to write this down. S-M-A-R-T. Let's start with the S. S stands for specific. Okay? M stands for measurable. A stands for attainable. R stands for relevant. And T stands for time bound. So let me give you some examples. We want to grow our revenues. That's a meaningless statement. That can't be an objective. And if that's your objective, you're never going to achieve it. Growing our revenues, it is not S. It's not specific. It's a little bit measurable. It may be attainable depending on how much you want to grow it. It's probably relevant, but T, it's not time bound. So a better objective would be, we want to grow our revenues to $1 million in the next 12 months. Now it's very specific, it's very measurable, it's very time bound, and it's attainable. Now, I also want you to think about just lots of other examples. If you want to increase your customer satisfaction, now M really goes into play. How measurable is it? Are we going to go from 93% to 97%, etc.? So I want you to set SMART objectives because you will never be able to achieve something if it's not set with the S-M-A-R-T. For example, I want to lose weight. You can't lose weight. What do I want to do? I want to lose 10 pounds over the next 3 months. And then you're able to break it down and say, okay, I need to lose 3.3 pounds per month. If you can't break it down into more actionable steps, then you can't achieve your goal. So the first thing that you need to do is sit down and really think about what your vision and goals are and make sure they're SMART. Once again, they need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant to what you want to accomplish, and time-bound. And when we talk about attainable, for an example, is if you want to be a black belt in karate and you say, in the next 4 months I'm going to become a black belt in karate, that's simply not attainable. It's impossible to become a black belt in 4 months. There's a series of steps and it takes several years. So I want to make sure that you're also realistic, and that's where attainable comes in there. On the other hand, a lot of times attainable or realistic equates with easy. And I don't want you to think about it as easy, but it's something, it should be a stretch goal, but I don't want you to do something that's so pie in the sky that there's no chance of you achieving it. So to start with, set SMART goals. Secondly, SMART goals are great, but you can't execute on SMART goals. For example, my goal is to lose 50 pounds this year. You've got to break down your SMART objectives and goals and break them down into actionable items that you can do. So I want you to create to-do lists after breaking down those items. So 50 pounds in 1 year is, I believe, an impossible goal. But 1 pound per week is a more attainable goal. So you need to start breaking them down. But still, you can't lose 1 pound a week if you don't do something. So let's say my plan is I'm going to do exercise. So to lose 1 pound, I need to go to the gym 3 times a week for 30 minutes. So now I have my to-do items. My to-do items are, this week I need to go to the gym 3 times for 30 minutes each. So what you need to do is break down your SMART objectives and goals into tasks that can be completed in no more than 2 hours. Because if a task is going to take more than 2 hours, particularly if it's over 8 hours, you can't accomplish it at one sitting. So I want you to think about, what are your goals? If your goal is to create a new product, you need to break it down into a lot of different tasks. I'm going to create the outline of the product. That's going to take me 2 hours. Or maybe that takes 8 hours, so I'm going to create the outline for the first quarter of the product, etc. You need to break it down into actionable 1 to 2 hour, ideally, or less than 2 hour to-do items. Because if you can't break it down, you cannot accomplish it. And the third thing that you need to do is you need to put those to-do items into your calendar so they get done. Because if you don't put them in your calendar, they're so easy to blow off. Because if you remember my last video, we're talking about quadrant 2 activities. These are the super important activities to you and your business, super important to your success, but they're not urgent. They're not urgent. No one's standing there with a gun to your head saying you have to do this, or no one's calling on the phone saying you promised me this and you haven't delivered. So by putting them on your calendar, they become urgent. You actually trick yourself to an extent that you're making them quadrant 1 because it's in your calendar, and you know that at 3 o'clock today you have this activity. To an extent, it's sort of like someone calling you on the phone. It becomes urgent. So I need you to make them urgent by putting them on your calendar, and that's how you're going to accomplish a lot and get it done. So to recap, you need to start by setting your SMART objectives. You need to get them down on paper so you know exactly what it is that you want to achieve. Once again, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Absolutely critical. After you do that, I want you to break those down. You need to break them down into chunks of work. Ideally, each chunk is 2 hours or less. I like 1 to 2 hours is the most effective time blocks. Once you do that, you're going to create this big list of 1 to 2 hour to-do items, then put them in your calendar and don't waver from it. So today at 6:30 p.m., I am doing this. And then you map it out, get it in your calendar. So ideally, each and every day, you're acting on it and you're putting an hour into it. We talk about a lot with productivity and time management, writing a book. It's a great example. If you want to write a 365-page book, and so many people have this vision, I am going to write a book or I'm going to write a screenplay, and it never gets done. Well, if you want to write a 365-page book, it's just 1 page a day. It's 1 page a day. And most people just get so hung up on that they see it as this big task and this big objective, which it is. But you need to break it down into small objectives and schedule it into your day so it becomes urgent. It becomes a priority. So I want you to do those 3 things, and I'm going to have another video soon to help you out some more, to allow you to use your time as wisely as possible to achieve your dreams. Everyone, yourself, Richard Branson, Donald Trump, only has 24 hours in a day. And it's how you use that time that allows you to be ultra successful. So have a great day.